All right, what's up everybody? We're back in my shop this time, and yeah, you guessed it, another review video. But this one's pretty cool because we have a brand new metal detector. It hasn't even been released yet. Dr. Otek has come out with the MT-12. So we're going to be looking at that today, and they sent me a pro pointer. They've had this for a while, but this is the first time they've sent me one to review. So we're going to go ahead and check this out too at the same time. So we're going to get this out. I'll show y'all what's in the box. We'll do some air testing. We'll show you how to put it together. You know, the whole works just like the other videos. And I don't have a price point on it yet. It's due to release on March 15th. And we're almost there. So as soon as I get the retail price, I'll update the description in the video. So let's get this out. I'll show you what's in the box. All right, so we got everything out of the box. Let's take a look at what's in the box. Then we'll get this thing put together. So you get the standard accessories that normally come with these newer machines that they're putting out. It comes with a digger, which is an extremely nice digger. And like I've said in other videos, if you're just starting out and this is the first time you've seen a video on metal detecting, don't try to be hunting with a garden trowel because they're just not going to hold up. So you want these good diggers. It comes with a pouch, a carrying case. Comes with a nice set of headphones, and you have your volume control built in. We're not going to use the headphones today because obviously you need to hear what the machine's doing so we can run through how it works. So we're going to not use those. And of course you got your manual, your warranty cards and decals, it looks like. We don't need the manual because we know what we're doing. It's supposed to come with batteries. Mine did not come with the batteries, so we use a couple out of my stash. It's probably just because they're getting these ready to ship. They haven't been released yet, so I'm sure yours will come with batteries. In the Pro Pointer box, you get the Pro Pointer, and you get a lanyard, and I suggest y'all use these because I can't tell you how many times I've walked off and left one of mine in the field and had to go back and find it. So you got your sheath for your belt and another manual for the Pro Pointer. So we're gonna get some of this off the bench here, and then we're gonna show you how this all goes together. All right, so the parts to your metal detector that are in the box are going to be your arm cuff, the main control unit with this looks like the middle and lower shaft, and then the piece for the coil goes in the end of that. So we'll get all this together. Let's see, let's go ahead and put the arm cuff on. And I like these newer machines, they come with it's not a round shaft anymore, so everything is just a cam lock. For your adjustments, it's so easy, and these things won't twist around and your coil will get all wonky out there. So I really like that all these newer machines are coming with this non-cylindrical rod. So your arm cuff just slides in and you can get it where you want it. Go ahead and get this set up for me since I'll be demonstrating. And then you just lock it down with your cam lock. Now your arm cuff is done. So on this piece right here, if you'll look, it comes with a set screw. I know it may be hard to see. So when you unpack that, make sure the set screw's in it, you don't lose that. And this is going to, it only goes in one way, you don't have to worry about that. And then once you slide it into that lower shaft, you put your set screw back in it. And now you got your lower rod complete and it's ready for the coil. So on your coil, you're going to have a wing bolt here. Before you put your coil on, you need to make sure that these rubber washers have not fallen out. They're in there pretty good, but if you can see they're thin and they will come out. Just make sure you don't knock these out and misplace them, because that's what keeps this coil from easing down on you when you're trying to hunt. So get our wing bolts back in there. The next thing we're going to do is wind this cable, and if you're new to this, I say this every time, you always want to start winding your cable over the top. So you're going to go over your rod. Don't pass it under, because if your cable gets loose and it starts hanging down, it could give you false signals. The back of the coil will be picking up that loose cable hanging down. And then it simply plugs in behind the control unit, and it only goes one way, so you don't have to worry about it. And then just screw your lock nut down, and you're almost done. All we got to do now is put the batteries in. The batteries go right here in the top, so you just push down, pull back, and then you put your two 9 volts in, which it's supposed to come with them, so hopefully yours will. Mine didn't. Alright, we're going to get these in here and get this back together, and then we're going to go over the pro pointer real quick. Alright, so we got the machine together. There's nothing to put together on this. You just want to make sure you get your lanyard on it. So we're going to go ahead and look at how this works. These things, if you're just starting out, these really help you find where your target is in the hole. And when you're first learning, you need to get good at recovering your target, because if you dig big holes for 1 penny, you're going to get discouraged. So a pro pointer really helps narrow it down. So if you dig down, you open your plug, and you don't see it, you can just turn this on, run it around, and get real close. So there's nothing to these really. This one only has 2 buttons. The on button is also your mode button, and this other button is to basically eliminate interference. So let's take a look at this. So if you turn this on, there's 3 modes. You got silent mode with no vibration and no tone. You have tone only, and you have vibrate only. And you cycle through those modes with this switch. And then to turn it off, you hold it. And when you turn it back on, it starts with the last mode that you left off in. So this graph right here shows you how close you're getting to your target. So let's grab a sample here. So I've got it in vibrate only. Let's go to tone so you can hear it. That's tone and vibrate. Okay, that'll work. Now, if you're getting some interference, if you'll push this, that triangle will turn green, and it shows you that your interference is eliminated. And that's really all there is to these pinpointers. So these are good to have, especially if you're starting out. Alright, so now we're going to go over the operation of this metal detector. Now this one is a little more involved than the other detectors we have looked at in the past. But the learning curve is not that bad, but it's more of a learning curve than some of the other detectors we reviewed. So on this machine, the first knob you need to deal with is the on-off button, and it's also the sensitivity, and that's all it does. You just turn it on, it's going to go through its self-test, and then you'll dial up the sensitivity, which we're going to keep low because we're in the shop. So once it starts, you're going to see your battery level. Your target ID is at the top, and these numbers correspond with the types of targets. So if you're new to this, on the lower end of the spectrum, you got nails and the stuff you really don't want to dig, all the way up to silver, brass, and pennies. They fall in the middle. Gold falls in with pull tabs and foil. So unfortunately, you got to dig a lot of pull tabs to find gold rings. So that's what these numbers up here are for. So when you scan a target, it's gonna light one of the LCDs under that and kind of tell you about what it's trying to see. So if we got a quarter, then it's going to light it up down here on the silver end of the spectrum. So when we get into the menu, all you have is backlight, the volume, notch discrimination, and beach mode. And so you cycle through this menu with this menu button. So we got the backlight. If you wanted to adjust it, you would just dial it down. I'm going to keep it up all the way for this video. The volume is plus and minus, just like the backlight, and turn it up, turn it down. Notch discrimination, we're going to go over that in just a minute. So you'll have, you can turn it on, turn notch on, and then when you go to width, you can turn on the width of it, and that is going to set the width of your notch. So we're going to cover that in depth here in just a second. And then beach mode. So when you leave it on beach like this, it stays on beach. And beach mode is a specific mode for hunting on saltwater locations, because saltwater is conductive and so is the wet sand. So it kind of sets this machine up to try and compensate for that. So if you're hunting on a saltwater beach, you'll need to put it in beach mode. And to get it out of beach mode, you just hit menu, go to the backlight or some other setting and let it reset, and you're out of beach mode. This knob is, if it's off, you're in discriminate mode. And like I said, we're going to go over that in just a second. If you turn it on, you're in all metal mode. And you can also use a threshold here. Some people like hunting with a threshold. If you're new, you're probably not. So you can turn it up where you can barely hear it. And it just gives you an extra level of sensitivity if you want to use that threshold to hear really faint targets. We're not going to get into all that. That's getting a little more advanced, but at least you have that option in this machine if you want to use it. So we're going to keep all metal off. And still, it's not true all metal. Some detector companies, they have different varying ways they think all metal should be. The metal, this machine still has to move in all metal. So you can't just hold something under the coil. It has to be moving. So that's what all metal sounds like. It just gives you the threshold. But true all metal is more like pinpoint to me. This is your pinpoint button. This is where you can hold the metal detector still and narrow down where your target is. So that was the last button we needed to look at. You got the pinpoint button. That's pinpoint, and that's off. Now let's go back to discriminate and talk about that real quick. So if you don't discriminate anything, you're basically in all metal without the threshold. So they're almost the same thing, because this machine, the only true all metal is if you ran around and pinpoint. You're not going to do that. But back to the discrimination, if you notch out some of these numbers, it's going to be silent over them, or try not to pick them up. So what you might want to do, a real world scenario, is you might want to take off nails. Maybe you don't want to hear those. And the good thing about this machine is it's 3-tone. So if you leave the nails on, they have their own tone, the iron, and it's low. And then your other tones go progressively higher. So if we get, say, an old rusty nail, and we have it set to where we got no discrimination, that's that low tone. And you need to kind of listen for that so you'll know when you're getting into a trashy area. And then if we move up the spectrum to a pull tab, which is the middle, you're going to get a different tone. And then if we get into silver, let's see, this quarter is not silver, but it'll make a high tone. And there's your high tone. That's your coins from here up. So you got a 3-tone machine, and that kind of helps you determine if you're getting an iron and what these targets might be, in addition to your numbers. So let's say now we just did not want pull tabs. I don't recommend it, but for some reason you might want to do that. So you would go into your menu. We're going to go down to notch, and that turns on all your LCDs that show you what you can notch out and what you're getting. And then if you go down and start adjusting it, you'll see I've added one. Or you can dial them back. And so my width is set very narrow on this. So if we don't want the width, if we just wanted to take off a section, we're going to dial this up with no width. and then we can take out sections. As you can see, I'm taking out sections, and then when you use the width in the notch, you can set your width to be a section, a larger section, and then when you hit notch and dial it up, it moves that whole notch left and right, and you can notch out certain sections. But in the beginning, you might want to just leave all them on and listen and dig everything so you'll know what the machine's telling you. You can learn what you're digging just by what your machine is telling you, instead of starting out by trying to notch out certain things. But the option is in this machine if you need it. And that's basically really all there is to it. If you're going to use headphones, that basically just plugs in up front here in your headphone jack. And there's really nothing left to learn. It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly simple. The notch you might have trouble with, so I've got it notched and I don't want that. So we just go back through the menu and turn it off and then let it reset. But you got to turn off notch. We're turning off beach. All right, so let's do some air testing now, and we'll see what the screen's telling us, and we'll kind of bring all this together, and then we're going to actually use this in a real world situation. So on these machines, and I talk about this in every video, it's called recovery speed. And that is normally what you sacrifice when you get a lower price point on machines. And it's a limitation, but it's something if you're aware of it, then you can deal with it. So, and what I mean by that is when you have objects close together under the ground, the machine, after each target, it has to reset, and that's your recovery speed. And if you're aware of the limitations of the machine, you just slow down your swing. Now, normally you hear people say, go low and slow. Low means get your coil close to the ground and keep it flat. Slow, a lot of people misconstrue that, is the swing speed. Now, like I said, these machines have to be moving to work. So you have to be swinging them. I think I turned that sensitivity way down because we're in the shop. Okay. So when they talk about going slow, that is your forward motion. How fast are you walking forward? That's what you got to go slow on. When it comes to swing speed, you can go fairly fast, and especially on a higher end machine, because the recovery speed is blazingly fast. You can't outswing the machine. But on these beginner machines, you just need to be aware. By doing an air test, that'll tell you if you're swinging too fast. See, now I'm starting to lose it. You need the beep both directions. If you get the beep both directions, that's something you want to dig. So on this machine, if you'll watch this stick, this is about what your swing speed should be when you're out there swinging. See, I get that quarter both directions. Now when you start getting targets that are a little bit trashy, this machine may have a little overshoot. They all do, no matter what price point. If you get multiple different tones and you can't get that thing to beat both directions, it's probably trash. Now, as you get more advanced, you'll learn and you'll hear you need to dig everything. If in doubt, dig it out. But when you're just starting out, you want to stay motivated. You want to dig good stuff. You may be cherry picking in the beginning, so that you don't get discouraged. So you want to go around and get your mid tones and your high tones and make sure you get the beat both directions. Now as you see me swinging this, it's lighting this LED up, this LCD. I have no discrimination on. I've got all these are lit up in the menu. See that? And we're not going to notch. So I got it to 0. There's nothing being notched out. And then over here, you're going to see the depth. So I got the sensitivity down because we're inside. I'll see what we can get away with. And we're going to look at this quarter and watch this graph. That'll tell you kind of the depth. I think we're getting probably about 6 inches on this quarter inside with low sensitivity. So you're going to get more than that outside in the dirt. And this kind of gives you a rough estimate of the depth. And you can look in the manual. I didn't look it up, but each one of these bars corresponds probably to 2 inches. It's probably like 2, 4, 6, 8. And that's probably about it for the air testing. That should get you started. You can make you up some of these paint stir sticks. Just get all kinds of stuff around the house and sit down with your machine and pass them in front of the coil, so you can kind of get used to what it's telling you up here, and then those 3 tones. So we got the nails, got that low tone, got pennies that are going to read high tone. Or this is a clad penny, a zinc penny, so it's going to give you a mid tone. This is a brass key. They fall in the middle range, and so does foil. Can go either way depending on the size. That's a big chunk, so that's going to be a mid-tone. All right, so we know the basic operation. We know how our pinpointer works. So let's get these 2 items out, and we will go out and use them for real. All right, so we brought y'all to a vacant lot that I have. We've hunted this, kind of. So there's a lot of targets here. We're not going to spend a lot of time because my videos have been getting too long for people. So we're going to dig a few things out here. I wanted to show y'all how to, if you're just starting out, the technique for swinging. So you want to keep this coil right above the ground, and you want to keep it flat through your whole swing. Don't be doing this stuff. So you want to just keep it flat. And as you can see, I've already gotten a signal. But remember, we need a repeatable signal. So there's one right there. So you can hear I'm getting that both directions. And if you'll come around here, you'll be able to see on the screen, we've got it up in the coin range. So we're going to go ahead and pinpoint. Remember, you push the button. Get that nice solid tone, so your target should be right in the middle of this coil. And so what you want to do is you want to dig just behind the center. In case it is a good coin, you don't want to drive your digger right through it. So we've had a lot of rain. It's probably going to be muddy. So we're going to dig a nice little plug. And it sounds like we have it in the plug. So this is where you could either break your plug open, or you can use your pinpointer. So we know it's going to be over here. And there, oh, look at that. Somebody's been out here playing golf. Broke the end of their golf club off. So that is a pretty cool find. And then always cover your holes. Alright, so we've isolated another signal right here. So I'm getting in both directions. And you can see on the number, we've got it's in the 70s, so we're going to see what a 70 is. So we're going to pinpoint. So it should be right there. Don't forget to take it out of pinpoint mode. I've got the wrong button pushed now. Oh, I already see it. Y'all see that? Come on in close. I think we've been fooled by a can. Nope, it's the bottle top. It's an old screw cap. Big red. I got a signal over here, but as we're coming up to it, you can hear that iron. So that's probably nails. I hope y'all can hear that. It's kind of windy out here today. But right there, we get a mid-tone both directions. All right, so we're looking at it right here. You got to remember, this is when you push pinpoint, it stays in pinpoint until you push that button again. All right, since we know we got it in the plug, we're gonna narrow it down with our pro pointer, pin pointer. Right there it is, it just fell out. Another screw cap got us. But the good thing about this is you can see how we came up and we're getting all that iron signals. Some of them blips were just one direction, but this one gave us a beat both directions, and that's the key. All right, so we got another mid-tone right here. I think that's the one we found earlier. All right, we're gonna dig right here. Now, given mid-tone and the fact that we just dug a bottle cap and a can over there, we're probably going to be digging the same stuff. Nope. So, this is a good learning experience. Even though this is iron or steel and we don't want it, when you find stuff that's round and the circle's not broken, a lot of times it will give you an actual tone. Even though this is iron or steel and it should be giving us a low tone, it's big and it is round, and so sometimes that'll give you a tone. So that's what this one was. All right, so now you see those tones are not both directions, so it could be overshoot, but I got one coming up. You can see all I did was move and it sounds even different, but you're not getting that consistent double beat from both sides of your swing. But there's one. So let's see what this one is. Oh, I feel something. And there it is right there. Let's get down here and see what we got. Probably a piece of aluminum siding or something. We had some rain, so it's really muddy out here. Well, I don't know what that is. It's some kind of, maybe some kind of molding off something. You can see the contour here. Aluminum for the scrap bucket. All right, so we ran through the operation of this machine. You know how to put it together. You know how the controls work, and we've used it in a real environment, out in the real world. And we've got a golf club, we got some bottle caps, some aluminum foil, and a piece of aluminum off who knows what. And this is typical stuff. Now, if we'd have taken this to a yard that's never been hunted, we'd have probably got coins and stuff, and you may or may not get lucky on your first time out. You could end up with a ring. You could end up with coins. You need to probably want to focus on starting, if you're just starting out. Try to find somebody, friends or family, that has maybe a house built before coins went clad. Maybe find somebody with a house built in '64 or older, and just hunt their backyard, hunt the front yard. You don't really want to start out in parks because they've all been hit so hard. You really got to be diligent, and you got to hunt hard in these parks to get good stuff these days. It's there. it's just not someplace you'd want to start. So overall, like I said, I don't know how much they're going to retail this for. I'm sure I'll get that information fairly quick, and I'll update the video description. But I already know Dr. Otek is good about keeping their prices way down, so most likely whatever they have decided to price this at, it's going to be a good price for this machine, because you're getting a digital machine. I really like the size of this coil. I can't stress this enough. You don't want to get in the habit of thinking that bigger is better when it comes to coils, especially if you're hunting in the city, because you just get too much under a big coil and the machine don't know what to make of it. And these beginner machines, they're just a little bit slower, so they need smaller coils. So luckily with this machine, you're not getting a giant coil like some of these guys are coupling with these machines. So anytime you can get a smaller coil, I would go for that, especially if you're a beginner. Other than that, the Pro Pointer, I really like their pinpointer. This thing works pretty dang good. So if you're in the market for a new machine and you're just starting out, give this one a try. This is their newest model, and I hope you got some useful tips out of this also. And if you ever have trouble metal detecting or getting started, always seek out your local club, because I guarantee you somebody there will help you. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the next video.